deep-seated parts of intellectual moral culture, just like the two original sins, and the racism and the providentialism and so on. Nevertheless, it's a formally secular society, and that's not insignificant. So it's a hard question to answer.
Thank you. What is the danger of having too many religious elements in the state? Maybe
I mean, if people want to, like if a mother has a dying child and she wants to believe that she's going to see him again in heaven, okay, that's nobody's business. Nobody has a right to give her lectures on evidence and argument and science and so on. On the other hand, if it enters into policy formation, like if George Bush is invoking extremist evangelical fanaticism to go to war against Iraq, then it's quite significant. And there's a whole lot of gradations in between.
How do anarchists view the state on the one hand and institutionalized religion on the other?
Standard anarchist slogan is no God, no master. But anarchists conventionally regard the state as an oppressive system, should be dismantled into free associations and so on. I share that view. But you have to be a little careful. I mean, if you take a look at actual anarchist journals, serious ones like, say, Freedom in London, maybe the most long-standing, they'll say the same thing. We have to get rid of the state. But take a look at the articles. The articles are almost always about using state power to protect people. So workers' rights, for example, they're calling for guaranteeing workers' rights, supporting strikes, supporting rights to health care and so on. Well, that's all using the state. Now, there's no contradiction there. I mean, the state is one system of power, but it's not the only one. In fact, it's not the worst one. Corporate tyrannies are much worse than the state. At least the state is, to some extent, under popular control. Corporate tyrannies are unaccountable. They're unaccountable tyrannies, worst possible kind. You can't say anything about them. You can rent yourself to them, or you can buy what they produce or something. That's the extent of your influence on them, except for state regulation, which is very limited because the corporate system usually takes over the regulatory apparatus and basically owns the government anyhow. But that's the only constraint. So a principled anarchist, my view, and I argue with anarchist friends about this all the time, but a principled anarchist should be supporting state power to protect the population against an even worse system of predatory power. It should be temporary, you should be trying to get rid of it, but we live in this world, not in some world we imagine in our heads about the future. So if you care about people, that's the stand one will have to take. A lot of anarchists don't like this.
It's your opinion, so.
Yeah, okay. Not trying to hide it.
It seems that most anarchists are atheists. Is it a contradiction to be religious and an anarchist at the same time?
There's a whole tradition of religious anarchism. In fact, people like, say, A.J. Muste in the United States or others are religious anarchists and very courageous, brave, honorable people. In fact, there's a tradition of evangelical anarchism. You take a look at the solidarity movements, which developed in the 80s. Now, that's something totally new in the history of imperialism. And nobody ever went to live in a village that was under attack by the imperial power to help the people. But thousands of Americans did in the 80s. And if you look back, a lot of them come from Midwest, Southwest churches. A lot of them are influenced by liberation theology, which interpreted the Gospels literally. The Gospels are a revolutionary, a radical pacifist document. And that all changed when the Emperor Constantine took over symbol of human suffering to the symbol on the shield of the Roman legions. But the liberation theology went back to the Gospels, and it had a kind of a radical pacifist